This is Reality with Partiality, and in studio, as promised, our guest, Wil Maheia. Hello, my brother.
Yes. Good morning. How you doing?
Well, Will, I really apologize to you off air, but I need to do it on the record. I, quite some time ago, I believe it was even before Mr. Barrow became Prime Minister, you approached me. You treated me to a fine restaurant down there by the fort,
Okay.
and you talk politics to me. I I recall at the time I was still partisan. That's my recollection. I cannot pin the air, but when you give your presentation, it will come. So I apologize for that because I wasn't ready. Notwithstanding, I think we had a connection. We certainly did because I've always been my own man, but I returned to the country after studying abroad without even waiting for the degree. I had them mail it. And I parted ways with the Baptists and went to run an independent campaign for the Ellingtons in 2003. There were 13 independents that year. And so they managed to come in second in Pickstack to Godfrey Smith. But then I became Blue Conquest in the UDP, and Barrow would eventually win in 2008. But before I went to the States, when Michael Jordan won those 3 rings, I was there, the first 3, 90 to 94. I've been in Punta Gorda. I was the administrator there down in Orange Point for Voice of America relay station. Then I did not see you. But I was up and down there in Punta Gorda having a good time. Now, let me make a short introduction and then I will turn over the mic to you. Well, not introduction, but a teaser. And when I turn over the mic, then you can say, okay, this is my early childhood and so on. And then eventually you will get to your presentation, the meat of the matter for today. So September 21 will make Belize 45 years of independence. Today, 75% of the population is 44 years and under. Out of that, and since 1998, Said Musa had 2 terms in political office as head of state. Dean Barrow followed with 3 back-to-back terms, back-to-back, and now Prime Minister Busena is in his 2nd term. The threats from Guatemala to invade Belize increased under Said Musa administration to where OAS was asked by the parties to mediate with a view to finding a solution. OAS responded favorably, and the Musa administration, together with Guatemala, drafted the 2008 compromise. Notwithstanding, during the general election of that year, 2008, PUP was voted out of office. Dean Oliver Barrow became Prime Minister, Wilfred Ellington, Foreign Minister, and together they considered the special agreement to be a good for Belize and thereby signed it in December 2008. As a response to Guatemala incursion along the Sarstoon border, illegally crossing into our side, Wil Maheia, in studio today in 2009 or thereabouts, started the Belize Territorial Volunteer Movement. Many government officials in office today, even in cabinet and elsewhere, joined the movement and continue to support the movement. While the Barrow administration tried to dissuade the excursions, mostly annual, many now in government accompanied Wil Maheia on, for example, the annual expedition to the Sarstoon Island. Now, since Prime Minister Brisenia is in his second term, and every September leading up to our independence celebration, the country continues what has become a tradition, issuing Heroes Awards there at the Bliss Institute. If I am wrong, then I stand to be corrected. But I have yet to hear Wil Maheia's name. Maybe they will become embarrassed and do it now. Add it to the list. But again, I say, if I am wrong, I apologize. But they give these awards to what they call Belize's most outstanding heroes. The man who, when it mattered most, time and time again, risked his life, laying it on the line. I recall Wil Maheia. The Wil Maheia that I know doesn't believe in kissing the backside. So here's hoping they start issuing these awards according to merit. For a hero or shiro is a hero shiro regardless. What kind of heroes are we brandishing before our young people? 75% under 44 years old in this population. You know, some liken to, I guess, puppets in a show, coming with political strings attached as the criteria set up by these parties, red and blue, PUP or UDP, which then sends the message to our young people that to be a hero, you have to be a good red or blue, UDP or PUP. You can't think for yourself, be a universal citizen, associating with all without having to be a card carrying member of one of their political or religious organizations. Moving along, and before Wil talks about his issue, near and dear to his heart, we will ask you, Brother Wil, to begin by introducing yourself, your early childhood environment and influences, and then go from there. Please take the microphone.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning. Thank you, Percy. Thanks for remembering all those things that happened. But I'd like to say that I'm born and raised here in Punta Gorda, Toledo district. Spent all my life here except for when I went to study. And then immediately after studying, I came back to Punta Gorda because I made one promise to myself. I will not work outside of this district that has suffered from brain drain, and I will work to help to develop one of what I consider the richest district when it comes to natural resources in the country of Belize.
I
So
agree.
it would make no sense to move out of this district. What we should do is try and work together to engineer that the natural resources are properly managed and sustainably harvested, because I'm not like a tree hugger that will say don't cut anything. I'll say let's do it in a sustainable way.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's one of the things that keep me here, and I continue to be here. And I really glad for this opportunity to be here.
What year was that when you returned after study?
I returned to Belize I would say in the late 90s,
Okay.
and immediately, I could have with as a returning with a college education, most people would even gravitate to getting a job in Belize City or elsewhere outside of the Toledo district, as is the norm. But I decided, look, I'm not going to work outside. If I can't find a job here, I'll create my own job. In fact, I had a at the time I had a bachelor's degree, and I took a job as a bus conductor on the James bus
Wow.
because I wanted to stay in the Toledo district.
Mhm.
So, I mean, like that gave me a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge about, the things happening on the ground. Working on the bus was a real education for me. And I would say that anyone who work as a bus conductor or a bus driver, have some education that no college could give to them. Just out there learning off the roads and off the streets, and it's like real life situation.
Yes, yes. notwithstanding, you gain some experience in the US. Aside from, you will tell us, what your degree is, and I have an idea, but the audience needs to know. But you did you join any of the services there?
Yeah, my degree is in the natural resources management,
Okay.
and that's what I am doing here, managing, helping to manage and make sure that we as Belizeans sustainably harvest what we have, and there is a profit that comes from it, because at the end of the day, we all need money to survive, and we all want to advance, and yeah, so that's kind of like what I focus on. I mean, like, I'm in the business right now of the spirits industry, and anybody could make a rum, but people don't just make a rum. I mean, where I'm involved with the Kopali rum, we don't make a rum, we make a rum. It is the most sustainable produced rum, not only in Belize, but in the country, in the Caribbean and a whole, and Central America. We make the only carbon negative rum, and I would believe that. But maybe because of my stance, and I'm always tackling the PUDP, they have ceased to recognize that this rum is a flagship and could be a flagship for the country of Belize, because it's not just about rum. Like I say, we produce it sustainably. We have a zero waste distillery. We have the biggest organic sugarcane field in all of Central America and the Caribbean. It's not, we're not only saying that, it is certified,
Hmm.
yet all the people going to all these climate change and everything there, I've never heard them, even though they know, mention the fact that we are leading in the spirits industry. And it's not just about us, we want to raise the bar, because in the spirits industry, because around the world, there's a great percentage of people that will continue to drink alcohol. And if they drink, I want them to drink something that's good for the planet and that is produced in a sustainable way. I was hoping that that's where we would go. Now, on the other side, the activism side, I also stay active on that area to ensure that we don't have people coming in and raping our natural resources. As you know, Toledo is near the Guatemalan border. So the territorial volunteers, when I first came back from school, in a nutshell, I started the organization called TIDE,
Yes.
Toledo
Oh,
Institute for Development and Environment.
you started it. I know of
Yes,
it.
I started TIDE
Oh,
right out of Waluko's bar.
okay.
We
Okay.
came up with that organization. There were
Mhm.
first, we used to use the profits from the beer to go and do patrols, because at the time government
Yes.
was delinquent in taking
Ah.
care of its natural resources. They had fisheries officers there that would not go on patrol. And because at that time the then era representative was facilitating a
Mhm.
lot of the illegal fishing from Guatemala, and that's how they financed
Mhm.
their campaign. So
Mhm.
I mean, um, had to do something, and we did something, and Tide was formed, and today Tide is the biggest environmental nonprofit in Southern Belize and one of the biggest
Mhm.
employers. I started that. Well, when I say I mean we, along with the fishermen, it was like a
Yes.
fisherman-based organization.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we worked together to get that, and spearheaded it to what it is today, which is a great one of the top organizations in Belize. After that was when I went into the spirits industry and making and helping to make the Kopali rum. So, I mean, there's a lot that goes with that. So, um, the present situation with the politics is that, like yourself, you've talked about the PUP and the UDP and how bad they have been for this country. If those parties were honest, had honest people within them, and I'm sure they have one or two honest ones, but they are outnumbered by the corruption that takes place there. This country
Mhm.
could be a donor nation instead of a beggar nation. We could be
Yes. Yes.
a country that is like, we could be the Switzerland of the Americas. We are small in population. We have a decent size, twice the size of Jamaica, bigger than El Salvador in
Mhm.
landmass. Um, we have very small population. So if we manage it along with our natural resources, we can have our cake and eat it too. But the
True.
corruption, and hence I will never, ever, and I hope I could keep man to my word, join any of the two criminal organizations known as the PUDP. Um, because every day you are exposed to the amount of stealing that takes place, the stealing of taxpayers' money, stealing of resources from the people of Belize. And that is something that I don't condone, and I don't want to be a part of it. And that's why, I try to start the People's National Party, which is up and functioning today. But we don't have a lot of members. And why is that? I would say the thing is that a lot of Belizeans know what the problem is, but are afraid to tackle the problem. They are
Yeah.
comfortable by saying, well, okay, I'll give this one a try. Then when they screw up, they give the other one a try. Then they go back to giving this one a try. Belizeans are not willing to sacrifice. And it will be some blood and tears and sweat that will take the change to happen, for it to make the change happen. But when the Belizean people are ready, then that will happen. But as of now, I don't see it happening. And I hope that they could get the guts to really do it. When they will do that, because they have a lot of so-called educated people who outrightly condone corruption. I mean,
It's true.
a lot of
Refresh.
people here
Yeah.
in these that um, we have a lot of people here in Belize that knows that what is wrong, but is too afraid to step out and say so. They are not willing to stick their neck out. I mean, look at the electoral divisions; it's so unequal. And who are
Yes.
all these educated people who come to the south? The south from Cebu to the Sarstoon is half the size of the country and only have 4 electoral divisions. That is total unjust. So what happened to all the people who claim, oh, we love Belize, we love the South, we all the people from Belize City who come down here all the time and hug us up and saying, hey, nice job, whatever, whatever, but have done nothing to encourage their party to make a change in the constitution to make voting equal. Percy, I think I have to take a quick break and then our tag back in, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
our tag right back in. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I have to say, you know, Will is right on point. I I I I am odd because I rarely agree with somebody 100%. It's very sad. He said, Belizeans, there are many who do have the guts. They tell you, yeah, 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 but you know what? They are opportunistic, and really they have begun to take incentives for their votes. There is very little, this is our patrimony. But sadly, there are people who don't consider their votes sacred. It's sad. Will strikes me as somebody who's like ahead of his time, you know. Um, from the day one, people have seen his integrity. This is a man who started the Territorial Volunteers, started the environmental organization that he told us about, started the People's National Party. So in all areas, the man has shown his mettle and been at the forefront of leadership. And where are the others? Opportunistic. They care about, okay, being popular, in season, you know, and very hypocritical. Many, many, many Belizeans, they can't hold a candle to this man. I don't know. I don't know. All I can say is it's up to the next generation. Why will I hope you have children and grandchildren that are ready to, take up where you left off, because the tide is turning. The tide is certainly turning, Will. You know, I hope we live to see the transformation. But with a younger and younger voter population, I can tell you, people are sick and tired of the same old, you know. Two parties, major political parties that are steep, steep in, yeah, talk to me. Huh? Uh-huh. What happened? Yeah, yeah, come right in, I'll let you in. Yeah, yeah, Will is coming back. So Wow. We have to stand up and take notice. We have to decide, what kind of country we want. And here is a guy I can tell you is about economic interests. He doesn't want to be one up on anybody. Will doesn't consider himself better than anybody. He has integrity. He wants for you the same thing he wants for himself. So Will is saying he's ready to come up. And I'm waiting to see him log in. In the meantime, let me see. I may have to send him the link again. I will do that just in case that's what's needed. Okay. Yeah, he's here.
Yep, brother. Sorry about that.
Go.
Yeah.
Pick up right where you left out.
All right. So, like I was saying, I was talking about the electoral politics and how Belizeans on a whole have to be willing to sacrifice. You have a lot of people in this country when Christmas time come. Educated people, I'm talking about educated people, civil servants, teachers, and other people who take a ham and a turkey from a politician during Christmas. They are depriving the people who rightfully deserve that ham and turkey. Because I'm not against giving the ham and turkey to those who need it. I'm against to the people who take it that don't need it. Right? And that's part of the corruption, and that is part of where we are today. And that is one of the reasons why people will not join our party, because we don't give ham and turkey. But I want Belizeans to rise above that thinking and say, you know what? I want to do this for the good of my country, not because the area representative will presently give me a ham or a turkey or a load of backfill or promise me a land title or something like that. No, if we see wrong, we need to step out and we say, call it a wrong. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And that's what we need to do in this country. And when we're going to do that, I don't know, but I hope that it's sooner than later, because as you can see, with all the stats that's taking place, our country is going downhill instead of getting on a level flat and be able to compete. I mean, you look at the World Cup that just happened the other day. You have small country like Caracas. Caracas could fit in the size in the Toledo district alone, and still have a lot of space. You have Jamaica, which is half the size and landmass of Belize, who are always at these Olympics and places like that. Where are we? Why is it that we are never able to progress beyond, like, a Central American game or something like that? We never reach these places. And when you look at it, the root cause is the corruption. I mean, even not only government, but outside of government, because you look at the FFB, the FIFA, they are corrupt as well. I mean, they are there, and the amount of money that had come into this country and the advancement we've made in football, it doesn't pay. It doesn't match. Obviously, one of the reason is the corruption.
That's true.
So it's all across the whole country. We have to try and get our act together, and work together and put Belize first instead of country. Put Belize or country first instead of political parties or friends and family. At the end of the day, when that happens, I believe everyone will be able to, sing the glory all the way.
Will, I correct me if I get it wrong, but you started a political party. You started a movement, the Territorial Volunteers. You started an environmental organization. I think you named it Tide. I don't remember
Tide.
that. So you are a pioneer, my brother. No, the
I'm the one that started PGTV as well.
God, I put it up. Now the matter at the ICJ between Belize and Guatemala will come to an end shortly. It is now in the phase where it's going to go through oral arguments and then the decision. And you are right in saying that the districts on the border in the south PG, front and center, is rich in natural resources. Right now, you have been doing your very best to protect the fishing industry from encroachers in the other country coming across from two countries
Yep.
because the border is Honduras and Guatemala.
Yep.
And then there's so much land between Guatemala and Belize. So the land policy. And so there will be some hiccups from Guatemala when the when the decision comes and it is ruled against them. We need transparency, we need accountability, we need people with integrity to hold things down. Otherwise, we will not see the prosperity in the South. We will not
As is happening right now.
speak to it. Speak to it.
We look. 20 years ago, the South used to be the breadbasket of Belize. We used to
Mm,
produce upwards of 10 million pounds of rice per year.
mm.
Last year, we didn't even produce 1 million pounds. So
Wow.
we are going backwards. In terms of natural resources, all the logs have moved out of the district. There's not a furniture factory here that would build furniture for export. Everything is
Mm.
moving out. We have right now, there's room for growth in the cacao chocolate industry. We cannot even supply chocolate for one big company in France. So we have
Wow.
the land, we have the resources. We just got to make use of it and put it together without corruption. Because even right now, government is giving a lot of loans and help to farmers. But where is it going? It's going in the wrong place. Look at this World Bank loan that just came, Chris, up. A lot of it is going to the sugar up north, knowing damn well that it's going to fail. It is going to fail. Millions of dollars every year is subsidized, but that sugar is subsidized to farmers up north. And I love the farmers up north and they work hard, but it's a failing industry. So why not
Mhm.
diversify? Why not try to get to something green, something that's sustainable? You know that right now the Orange Walk River passed through 6 constituencies, and the river is so polluted that scientists have told you not even your dog should be allowed to swim in the river.
Aya.
So, I mean, where are we? And then every climate change conference, Belize is first at the table. What are we really doing more than showing ourselves at meetings? We have
Mhm.
lost over 3,000 acres of prime rainforest in the Chiquibul National
Ooh.
Park. There's been
Ooh.
no kind of nothing to replant or reforest that. That was stolen by the Guatemalans. This is the only park in the world that have a cattle factory, a cattle pasture inside the national park, and PUP and UDP refused to tackle it. The Columbia Forest, beautiful virgin forest, used to be virgin until the Guatemalans have penetrated
Mm.
and raped it, and
Yes.
nothing have been done. Nothing. Yet the BDF budget was doubled a few years ago, and now there are less patrols than there were a few years ago. So where is that money going?
Mhm. Mhm.
So those are the things that we as Belizeans we need to tackle, and we need to get together. We need to stick our neck out. We need to say, hey, enough is enough. Because I can't change POP for UDP or UDP for POP because it's not working. We're going deeper, deeper, deeper. We need responsible Belizeans, people who have just come back from studies to step up to the plate. But if you notice in this country, a lot of people, they come back from study and what they do, fall into the red or blue section. Like, let's be a part of this feeling.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
crazy, right? You're supposed to come back with this education to build your country, not to break it down because that's what's happening right now.
Yeah. But here's what I find. I find that with the education, there are people flying right under the radar, but they've had to do either economy or politics. Right there in PG. I don't need to call the name, but there's somebody that started the pioneer for the drumming, what they call the thing, so not the drumming contest anyhow,
The Battle of the Drums.
the battle of the drums.
Yeah.
That individual has grown the economy far more than the National Guatemala Council. Call me out. I am calling them out, and I am telling you.
That individual, Mr. Avila, have basically saved the Garifuna language and culture here in the Toledo district.
All right, good.
Right? He have brought it back because I'm born and raised here, and I grew
Yeah,
up in this place. And there was a time when
yeah,
there was a peak, and then it began to decline until
yeah,
Darius came on board and decided we cannot stand out there and watch our culture disappear. And today it is a strong, vibrant culture. As I speak to you, they are having a summer camp right now where they're
yeah.
teaching the youths drummings and they're teaching the youths about the culture and to keep the culture alive and going. So, I mean, it can be done, but we need more than a handful of people. We need like people to step up and do the right thing. And even people in government, when they see wrong, they need to correct that wrong. When they see the teachers and the doctors and the engineers, when they see wrong, they need to call it out.
Well
You
then,
know?
well then, well then we should have more children and grandchildren that think like us will. Hello?
Yes, well, we need to get that going. We need people to step out. We need to get that going.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
anything else you'd like to me to say before I wrap up, and we could
I
always have
want
another conversation.
I wanted to wrap up, but I am hard. I am hard because you are a doer. You don't like to talk much, but you get it done.
Yeah, we like to
Then,
get things done. Yeah.
then, right? People are so opportunistic, right? Instead of giving you the props, you know, um, it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
get
but
in the
I'm not here for props. I'm here because I want to see my country progress. Another thing I want to tell you, since I would think that you have a nice audience from the south, the distance from San Pedro, from Belize International Airport to San
Mm,
Pedro is about 20 minutes. The distance from Belize International Airport to Dangriga is about 20 minutes. Dangriga have offshore keys. Dangriga have the best beaches in the country of Belize. I'm not guessing this. I know it. I've been to those beaches. Yet,
okay.
99% of the flights that come into Belize, the people go to San Pedro versus Dangriga. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Ay,
Now they are even taking the Dangriga culture to San Pedro instead of bringing the tourists to Dangriga and build that Dangriga economy and make it vibrant as it should be. Again, who are we to blame? Because in Dangriga, the whole South per capita have some of the brightest minds. Per capita, the South have more PhDs than any other part of the country. So where are these
ay.
PhDs? What the hell are they doing? You know? So I just want that to leave that with you that look, we people, we need
Yeah,
to, I mean, Stan Creek right there, the valley used to export
yeah,
14, 15 million boxes of citrus per year.
yeah,
Now, how
yeah,
much did
yeah,
they export last year?
yeah,
Bare
yeah,
minimum, hardly any,
yeah.
But all these things, we have to continue the dialogue, and people have got to step out and start to speak up.
Will, I will call you. I want some of that rum. I want to sample it. My
Yes,
brother, my brother,
it's
my
called the
brother.
Kopali rum, the
Yes,
only
yes, yes,
carbon
yes.
negative rum.
My brother is coming for the holidays.
Okay.
September, November. I will give you a holla.
Bring the
Robert,
man to PG. Bring the
I
man
will
to
bring. I
PG.
will bring. I will
Yeah.
bring. Okay.
Okay.
Your conclusion.
All right. I want to encourage as I exit right now. I just want to encourage Belizeans. Look, do not allow yourself to be victimized. We can only be,
Yeah,
be victimized if you allow yourself to be victimized. We must
yeah,
stand strong
yeah,
together. And I'm not telling you to join any party or to join my party. Let's stand up for Belize.
yeah,
Stand up for the country of Belize so that we could progress and move forward. Thank
yeah.
you, guys. Thank you, Ode, for the opportunity, Mr. Lewis, to invite me to voice
Mm.
what I have to say here on your platform. Thank you very much.
My brother, more time,
All
Will.
right. Respect.
Respect.
Yes.
Yeah.